have Katerina Semenko, a conceptual designer whose work sit right at the intersection of physical and digital. Yeah, please.
First of all, thanks for having me here. I'm cordially grateful for this opportunity to speak and to be part of this brilliant event, seriously. I'm Katerina Semenko. I'm a digital artist and conceptual designer, independent designer and artist, and I collaborate with universities around the globe, like Stanford University, Simon Fraser University, and others. And as an independent, being independent means that you should invent your own philosophy, your own way to comprehend the very absurdity of this reality, of this modern world. Optics of works is a philosophical ontology. And being an artist who is in the middle between physical and digital, I'm thinking about the very ontological potency of the mixed reality. And it's very basic. When you will see the very metaphorical, basic structures, entities, the very basic concepts of those worlds, they are dot for mental, atom for physical, and pixel for digital. And there is always like a dichotomy. When we spoke about mental world, it doesn't have a body, it doesn't have, but it has no limits. At the same time, physical world has a body, but a lot of limitations. And when we try to convert from mental to physical, we got the same loop bed circulation, like unlimitless, but bodiless, but at the same time, limitless, but having that limitation. And well, when mixed reality emerges, there is opportunity comes. Because this is the omnipotent space that can like handle both worlds. And as an artist, I developed my own perspective. And I use these methods. Let me share this. First, it's ontology. Ontology because this is the universal principle, the universal height from which we can accept and from which we can find the united structures within all this biodiversity of different phenomena and concepts. Artistic paradigm, because only being an artist, it's you have indulgence to move scales without any scale, so you can predict the future without being a scientist. And digital entity, because like this is the way I call it digital idealism, because this is the space that provides the most of the potency. So imagination and digital, to me, digital realm, mixed reality is that very entity that's the most congruent with the potency of humans, not only consciousness, but as well subconsciousness. And to me, mixed reality in its very ontological way, this is something that corrects the very gist of real life. Because we know that everything that we see around that is physical, it's not, it isn't that same that as it is appears. It's much more layered. It's much more nested world inside every object around us. And mixed reality, this is the same entity that made it possible, like it's a kind of like solution for the classical philosophical dichotomy of spirit matter, where there is opposition between two of them. But the digital world, the mixed, is make this digital entity as the very special, semi-real, immaterial entity of modernity. And my visual language is that's very bio-expressionism, as I call it. And it is all because of the life itself. I came to that, I would say, like tastelessness in terms of classical, probably design perspective way of this wilderness and these excessive colors and its maximum. It's very sharp and dramatic shapes, because to me this is the very visual representation of the absurdity of this life itself. It contains paradoxical phenomenon at the same time. So I worked mostly in digital graphics and 3D printing technology, mixed reality, and and the intersection of all of this. And another demonstration of this, my approach, is this collaboration with Stanford University. For example, physical worlds. I collaborated with microbiology departments where I was received from Professor Jacobs Wagner these original micrographs of the molecular worlds and captured. These are just bacteria. And I interpreted this with the whole artistic expression, because to me, just as a representation of physical worlds isn't enough. It has all the information, but it lacks the very emotional information, I would say, the very humanistic perspective with all this grandeur and all this joy and delight and I would say I venerate life through my artistic vision. So that is why all these micrographs are interpreted as these lavish structures. And another my entity that I utilize in my approach is abstraction. And to me, this is the most universal language, because this is similar to the music. You don't need any narratives to comprehend it. You comprehend it with your visceral body sense. So let me explain this within this metaphor. Imagine this ribbon is our life law, and as we all express it sometimes, we have harsh time, we have constraints that is narrowing our lavish life law. That is why this theme parts comes on this abstraction. And when you have prolificity, when you have everything beautifully smooth in your life, you are expanding to the world. So, and then constraints again. So in this is how the abstraction works. Every element is meaningful, and every element is deeply lived through. And I call it, along the philosopher Mirab Mamardashvili, that art is organ of reality. This is external entity to the viewer that allows him to participate into real life. And the same way as scientific images and the same way as real objects and phenomenon operate, all the entities, they consist of different parts. They are different in their functions too. But at the same time, they operate, every small detail operates in its own way. So the same way art operates. In my practice, I use this abstract language to convey the special meaning. For example, here within this my ontology, all this glossiness, this is the way to express this extreme speed within the static. This verticality is the way to express idealism. It's life on its maximum. And all these high density details, they represent the very complexity of life. A nested world. Life is a nested world. So, and the main thing that in my perspective we should battle as a human beings probably is habitualization. Habitualization, this is the concept of something became dead after many repetitions. And so it, Darwin phase could be habitualized. I'm sorry. So when you see something every day, it's now, you're not seeing this, you just scan it. And in order to crack this bad infinity, you need something to break this mundane, to experience the very true being. And to me, this is where art coming. So artwork works in this way. It ruptures the everydayness. It ruptures your everyday mundane routine. It ruptures the very habitualization setting. Then it breaks that automatism. So the viewer finds himself standing behind some phenomenon. That is the way where he started to experience the real life. And then the artwork is a subtle intrusion into perception of the viewer. So, just to give an example, for example, this is how artwork works. This is Kazimir Malevich, very well renowned black square, And imagine in our daily life, we have this bad infinity of news feeds. You know, this is continuation, never ends. You can never read to the ends of your news feed and this media flow. But visually, this black square is a visual annihilation of this bad infinity. So, like, on the one hand, we see something that never ends and never be productive. And on the other hand, we have artwork that solves it within its visual language, within its entity. And I'm presenting two works here. For one, the first one is a project of Dr. Mirjana Pirpa and Philippe Pasquier, and I was invited artist, collaborated on this beautiful, amazing project. And so here we offer a profound experience of this experience on the very life itself. And this is interactive virtual reality sculpture that operates with sensors attached to the viewer's chest. So the sensor captures the breathing signals from the viewer and transmits it to this giant lung-like sculpture. So the viewer appears himself in the sense of rebirth within this giant structure that breathes along with his pace of breathing. So the viewer, in absence of his own body, he experiences his own grandeur of being. And this is the way how to crack the mundane, crack that bad infinity and habitualization, and just to start experience the life itself. And I was also developed a preset of artistic textures. They are also organs of reality or ontological organs. Each of these is like a little bit of fractal generation, and each of these form is also presenting corresponding to a specific emotional mood of the viewer. So, and independent of the state of mood and emotional, and breathing pattern of the viewer, all these textures, they correspond to the emotions. And you see from the on the left upper corner, from the deep meditative stillness to the panic's hyperventilation. So these textures also represent as a visual translations for the viewer's experience. And another project of mine is my personal project, two digital sculptures, also organs of reality or ontological structures, as I call it. These are called, it was presented in Hong Kong's campus, and these are operates, and they are called as duality, they are called dual nature. So within this sculpture I present and I visualize the very concept of binary systems. So something that is self-sufficient on itself, but operates only in pair. So, and also it complements the environment, technological environment of the urban, because these projects are also as a public art. So it complements the very urbanistic texture and reminds of skyscrapers aesthetic, but at the same time they are being deeply lived creatures on their own. So, and also I'd like, as an artist and leading my own research, I'd like to present my scheme, how I perceive and what are the potency I see within this mixed reality or digital realm entity. And also within this scheme I present some concepts that are very inherent to this entity. First of all the arts, all the knowledge that starts from life, and I call it infinite anything. So this is the prolific source from which everything emerges. I call it nested worlds or layered existence. And then we as humans, we are the inventors or artists and researchers, we have a choice. So life divided into two structures, which is consciousness, so you can work with narratives or some certain objects. And within this realm, I see the problem that should be solved is biodiversity versus homogenization of the narratives. So in such a case, as an example, you clearly would grasp the concept of this homogenization is the popular culture usage of generative AI, and you all know about this bad infinity of AI-generated pictures that possess like very easily identified aesthetic. So this is the realm where should be worked on the biodiversity of narratives, including the very aesthetical languages. And another branch is subconsciousness affordances, as I call it. And so this is where my interests lie. And I define all this new entity with digital realm and mixed reality, particular, they possess their certain entities ontological that are very new to the humans. And thus infinity. We've never faced infinity except this digital world. And paradoxality, it exists and at the same time it not exists. Total interconnection, everything is connected. So you can translate easily from visual language to audio visual signals. Instantaneity. So you can instantly contact everyone around the globe. You can instantly produce visual artifacts and observation. Nowadays, we don't perceive and comprehend aesthetic. We just absorb it with all body. So concurrency, scalelessness, etc. So these are, I call it subconscious affordances. But at the same time, all these beautiful entities, they exist and they are duality, which means they are goods and there are some goods and some bads at the same time. This is the dichotomy of life. And within this, I see some two areas that should be also worked on. I would say, like digital environment possesses that very quality to depict very transcending nature of human consciousness, transcendental in terms of non-measured, unexplained. In other terms, all the secrets, sealed secrets, could be explained within digital environments. At the same time, weight should be applied in order to be amped into the viewer's life. It should have weight. So that is why the artifacts, the artworks should gain its time, effort, the very texture to be embodied experience and experience with the whole viewer's life experience. So transcending and weight. These are the two qualities that should be considered when working within this entity. And another part is algorithmicity and energy-consuming lived experience. These are two extremes that exist within the digital environments. On the one hand, we know algorithmicity. It exists in terms of parametric generation. And on the life side, algorithmicity, it corresponds even to some like habits, habitualization. So it also has its dichotomy within the concept. At the same time, we have the very lived human experience, but it's very, very energy consuming, lived experience. You know all these states, the states of its extreme when we are at our maximum of our emotional expression, when we are in very sincere and vulnerable position, but it's very, very time energy consuming. So that is why we should coexist and balance between these two entities. Neither being too algorithmical, otherwise you become dead within, or energy consuming too in order to survive. So this is my microcosm of how I perceive the potency and the very quality of digital environment. So, thank you so much for your attention. It's my pleasure.